The text came at 6:42 p.m. Can't make it tonight. Something came up at work. Sixth time this month. I stared at the message as if the letters were carved into a gravestone. There was no argument, no fight, no demand. I only typed, "All good." That wasn't calmness. That was the quiet before the brain finally stops pretending. I turned off the stove, dinner half-cooked, wine open, still breathing. The house dark but for the kitchen light bleeding against the tiles. I didn't call her. I didn't ask who kept her so busy after hours. I just opened Find My iPhone and watched her location pulse, bright, confident, and unashamed, inside a luxury apartment complex. Not her office, not work, her boss building. For a second, the world stopped moving. Not like an explosion, more like a silent vacuum pulling oxygen out of everything. Even my heart went quiet. I wasn't angry, I wasn't surprised. I was simply done. I stared at that location dot like it was mocking me. She once told me people cheat because they feel unseen. The irony made me taste metal in my mouth. The front door felt heavier when I opened it, not because of fear or heartbreak, but because of something more dangerous. Clarity. I bought flowers on the way. White lilies, her favorite. I added a card. Breakup delivered. I didn't ring the bell. I asked concierge to send it up. Then I went home and waited for her world to detonate. Her first call came at 8:57 p.m. Ignored. Her second came seconds later. Ignored. The third came with frantic texts. "Where are you? We need to talk. Please call me." I sat alone at the dining table, fork untouched, food growing cold. I stared at the chair where she used to sit and talk about how overworked she was, how unfair her job was, how she wished someone appreciated her efforts. I used to believe her. That was the betrayal, not the affair. The lies, the manipulation, the slow poisoning of trust. The house was silent except for my phone vibrating like a trapped insect. I thought back to the small clues I ignored. The perfume that wasn't mine. The unexplained laughter. The sudden gym membership. The way she started hanging up calls when I walked in. A normal man would explode, shout, confront, demand an explanation. But I wasn't normal tonight. I felt like someone else. Someone who stopped needing answers. Because the truth was already there, naked and vulgar. At 9:11 p.m., a different message came in. From my daughter-in-law. "If you want to join Thanksgiving, come wash the dishes." That one made me laugh. Sharp, humorless. They always believed I was the disposable one. The one who would say yes. The one who would tolerate disrespect in exchange for belonging. They didn't understand who I used to be before this marriage softened and shrank me. They were about to. I didn't go to Thanksgiving. I booked a flight instead. Switzerland. Not for escape, for perspective. I owned a villa there, one my wife constantly forgot I purchased long before she ever met me. A reminder that I didn't climb into her world, she climbed into mine. On the plane, I replayed everything like a detective revisiting evidence. The messages, the excuses, the subtle change in her voice when she lied. I wasn't devastated. I was calculating. Distance sharpens truth. I spent 2 days in silence, thinking, watching the snow fall against the mountains. The villa felt like the life I almost forgot was mine. Glass walls, heated floors, a view that didn't lie. She texted every hour. Voicemails filled with hysterical panic, apologies, and explanations no one asked for. By day 3, I had documented everything. Her lies, expenses hidden, work travel that wasn't work, and the phone records. I didn't threaten divorce. I didn't tell her where I was. I stayed still. Control is quiet. My daughter-in-law texted again. "Ungrateful, selfish, you abandoned family." Family? They only called me family when they needed something from me. So I posted photos of the villa, the interior, the private lake, the mountain view. Not to brag, to remind them all they underestimated the wrong person. My phone rang 71 times. I didn't answer once. On the fourth day, she finally confessed. Her voice cracked. I made a mistake. Mistake? The word people use when they get caught. She begged, pleaded, blamed stress, alcohol, bad judgment, loneliness. I listened without breathing. Then I said one sentence. I already knew. Silence. Not the awkward kind, the lethal kind. I told her about the phone location, the flowers, the calls I never returned. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't insult her. I didn't cry. She broke before I even finished. Please come home. We can fix this. I almost pitied her. Almost. I called her boss instead, calmly, professionally. He answered like a man who believed he'd gotten away with it. I didn't threaten him. I didn't accuse him. I just said, I know. He fired her the next day. Not because of guilt, because cowards always save themselves first. She came home after that, eyes swollen, dignity gone. She waited in the living room, sitting like a child waiting for punishment. I didn't shout. I handed her paperwork, the truth, evidence, financial statements, photos. I spoke quietly. I don't want revenge. She looked relieved. Then I finished. I want distance. Her face collapsed. That was the real consequence. Not rage, not violence, absence. I didn't return to the marriage, not because I hated her, because I didn't need her anymore. The villa became my sanctuary, the snow my silence. The world kept spinning, but I was finally outside of its reach. She kept calling, kept apologizing, kept drowning in her regret, but I didn't answer. People think heartbreak destroys you. It doesn't. It transforms you, reveals you, reminds you what you were before someone tried to rewrite your worth. She ruined everything she wanted to protect. I didn't have to ruin her. All I had to do was step away. Because some people don't deserve a reaction. They only deserve the sound of the door closing behind them. That was my revenge. That was my freedom.